Welcome back, aspirants, to the innovative channel Syllabus Coach, which has been presenting the unique series to revise and revisit NCERTs. So, friends, we know that we have entered into the last lesson of 6th class polity. So, the earlier lesson you should all have got a keen interest. You should have taken an interest. It's a bit longer, but you should have all liked it. So if you liked it, please give your comments in this video. So these are all the unique features we have been inculcating. So let's quickly, okay, this is the Telegram channel. Let me quickly go to the last lesson, the chapter 9, urban livelihoods. So friends, here I have linked it again to the same topic, that is vulnerable sections. These are the urban livelihoods. Again, I am telling you, whether it is rural livelihoods or urban livelihoods, if you have read the NCERT lesson, you will not be talking about Malia in Bangalore, right, or Ambani in what you say Mumbai. They will be talking about the small traders, right? They will be talking about the contract laborers. So why these people, why this NCRT has focused on this all the small people? Because they are the vulnerable sections. You are going to be an IAS or IPS or IRS officer and be able to form policies that would help give better schemes or better financial or better educational assistance to these vulnerable sections to come out of the poverty of income, poverty of economy, and poverty of thought process, right? So this is the prelims question which I wanted you relating to this lesson. Okay, so with reference to Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, consider the following statements. So friends, you lead these statements. Okay, the answer is C, that is 2 and 3 only, because the first one is not Minister of Labor and Employment, it is Minister of Skill Development. I think this scheme came in 2015, which is a very good scheme by the central government, which is trying to improve the skills. So, friends, why did they link this UPSC question to this particular lesson? You will be knowing in the analysis of this video. So, what India wants is skills. This is the future. You all know about this industrial revolution. If you are technocrats, you will be knowing about industrial revolution 4. What is industrial revolution 4? The future is artificial intelligence, the future is machine learning, the future is internet of things, the future is 5G. So all these together embedded are called as the industrial revolution 4. So as we move to industrial revolution 4, skilled and semi-skilled workers jobs will be reducing, friends. So the skilled and semi-skilled workers, what these people will do, they will not have jobs. Already India has seen jobless growth, and now even the growth is decreasing. There are no jobs. So to add to this crisis, it may become a human crisis very soon. So where will the jobs get from? So we need to create our own jobs. We need to create own entrepreneurs. For that, skills is required. So why skills is required? Let me explain. So the first page of NCRT is talking about street vendors, friends. Generally, we many people who should have explained NCRTs in classrooms. I don't know whether I have explained street vendors, but let me deal this uh, street vendors who are really vulnerable sections. Let me analyze their issues, right? So they are called as the informal sector, friends, unorganized economy. So friends, if you take our economy, Indian economy, it can be broadly classified into two means, that is the formal or the organized economy, or the informal or the unorganized economy. Okay, so the formal employees, they are like the people who are the salaried class. Okay, they are called as the regular employees who get their salary at the end of the month. If it is 30th, they get their salary. Whether it is a government or a private employee, if they get their salary regularly and they have a stable job, they are called as a formal employees. Okay. But informal employees, they are called as a casual labor or the casual employees. Okay, they don't have protections. So let me so these street vendors are the best examples of informal sector. Okay, so this unorganized sector is unfortunately 80 to 90%, friends. So 80 to 90% of Indians are actually unorganized sector. So all those hi-fi Bangalore software jobs, okay, or hi-fi manufacturing jobs whom you see, or the government IAS officers, or the salaried class who we see are just 10 to 12% of India, friends. We know that Indian taxpayers are just 4%, which are recently increased. So who are all the 80 to 90% Indians? They are all the unorganized sector. Many of them don't have the social protection. So that's why in 2014, friends, Street Vendors Protection of Livelihoods Act came. So how did this help the street vendors? Let me say. So again, friends, I'm emphasizing that all these things are not there in the NCERT. I want you to expand your domain of knowledge. So the first one is the Street Vendors Act recognized them as integral to urban economy. Yes, it's true. We have seen that after demonetization, the Indian growth has declined because the unorganized sector has shaken to the sudden things. Demonetization is a very good concept, but due to the sudden implementation, the unorganized sector has been seriously affected. That's why the urban economy has fallen down. So slowly again it is picking up, but because of corona again it has dropped. So that's why street vendors is very integral to urban economy, and they provide the affordable and convenient services to majority people. That's why what this act has told it, never try to remove street vendors. So, for example, if there is in a city, a new road is coming up or a new shopping mall is coming up, what the municipal officers try to do is they try to remove these people forcefully. Okay, or they pay some cash informally and give them or push them outside the road. So that should not be done. That's what the act told. They only it has to be done as a last resort. So it's better to rehabilitate them. If you are trying to shift them from this road, okay, try to rehabilitate in another road where there is no transport inconvenience, right? So why I'm telling you this, what this street vendors act try to do, it is a policy, friends. After all, it's a policy which has been created by an IAS group of IAS officers who were 30 years ago aspirants like you and me. So how did they think of it? Our independence came in 1947 and this is 2020. So these many years, nobody has thought about these vulnerable sections. Nobody has thought that removal of the street vendors forcefully from any road is human rights violation. So some people, many IAS officers should have pushed for it. That's why this act has come into the limelight in 2014. So this is what I expect from you. So read every issue in this manner. So what they did, they formed town vending committees in every city, and they have been given a role in decision making. But still, friends, I would say implementation issues are there. Not all over India, in not all cities and towns, this has been implementing. So it depends on the officer's concern. Now, another important concept, friends, I would not say this concept actually, this is an issue. This is an issue we see in every city. This is the life of India. So, friends, I all want you to give your attention to this pic. Right? This is the pic you see I would say every day early morning in every city. So who are all these people? These people are the laborers. Okay, these are all the laborers who come to a city from the surrounding villages. So what they try to do? They are the daily wage laborers who has work as the helpers to masons. They do the services like building the roads, building the what to say houses, laying the cables, laying the pipes, etc. So they are the casual or the informal labor. They don't have the regular salaried work. So they are mostly unskilled in India. Some are semi-skilled. Okay, they have a huge impact. They are hugely impacted by a revolution in 2005 called MG Narega, friends. So, friends, MG Narega is one of the important acts you should learn in India. I would suggest every aspirant to keenly read each and every word and every amendment done to MG Narega because it has been, I would say, lifeline of Indian economy, especially during the COVID lockdown. How? Let me explain you. So what MG Narega has generally done is 100 days of legal guarantee work. You all know it, one third women, unemployment alliance. So if government is unable to provide to any person 100 days legal guarantee work, it has to provide what unemployment alliance to that person. So Corona Savior, I would say MG Narega is India's Corona Savior because it has given earlier 182 day per day, now it is giving rupees 202 per day. So every person, all the migrant crisis, all the migrant people who went to their villages, now they are getting 202 per day and they're able to survive their day. Otherwise, many people would have died due to this migrant crisis without works. So acts like MG Narega, right to information, right to food, the earlier things I wrote, Street Vendors Act, these are the lifelines of India, friends. So they are able to impact the lives of millions of vulnerable sections. So the next concept is contract workers. Who are the contract workers? What is this concept called contract, friends? Suppose you go to a company, okay? The company says, I will only take you for 1 year. I want you to work only for 2 to 3 years, or I want you to work only till this project completes. So what you are called then? You are called as a contract employee or contract worker. So friends, in the present hi-fi India, many people, even me, I also want to be a contract worker. But we are not getting affected to it because why? We are skilled labor. what we are skilled or semi-skilled labor. So if you see this website called Truelancer, there are many such websites. Many of the skilled labor, the present young generation of India who are highly skilled, they try to be freelancers. They don't want to work under a single employer. They don't want to get rigid or boring life. They want to see different kinds of opportunities. They want to work for different people. But what about this right side figure? These people are the unskilled labor, right? Or the semi-skilled labor. What if an employer removes them in a single day? Can they get the job the next day? It's not so easy. So, friends, what they don't have? They don't have job security. They are the seasonal labor. So, this is where the government has to focus, friends. Okay. It is good for skilled labor like freelancers, software professionals, etc. But what about the labor laws? Now, state governments are thinking about labor laws. Let me explain you. Labor laws have been done 200 years ago. What? It is 200 years ago by British governments. Later, after independence came, there are four acts which now I am unable, which I will not explain you now. Let me explain you those in another lesson. So there are four important acts of independent India which are called as the labor laws. They are also now I would say archaic in nature because they are increasing the casualization of the labor. Okay, what the labor laws intend, they actually have to formalize the labor, but what they are trying to do, what they are doing in practical, they are increasing the casualization of labor. Now, what the state governments are doing, the presently in the COVID crisis, the state governments are trying to dilute or suspend, okay, suspend the labor laws. I would also support a part of it, friends. Labor reforms are required. I will not go into deep, but I am giving you just an idea of labor reforms. So what labor reforms is, suppose you are an employer. So what you say, suppose there is an employee in your organization who is not working well. So you should try to remove him, right? As an employer, you feel you have the right to remove him at any point of time if he is not working good, or if he is not updating the skills, you should have the right to remove him. That is called the labor reforms. In present India, because of the strict labor laws, the employers don't have this right to remove their laborers anytime because of the labor unions and strikes and all, etc. So the governments are trying to suspend it so that more companies can run their companies easily at lower costs, right? But what the state governments in a hurried manner is trying to do is actually diluting the provisions. Why I'm saying you this is, friends, here this is where I'm focusing on the concept called labor law. So the state governments recently have brought some ordinances, okay, without giving protection to laborers. Why I'm telling you this, so there must be a balance, friends. For any act there has to be both flexibility of the employer rights and security to the employee rights. So what state governments have suspended ordinance is, they have given flexibility to the employers to remove the labor, but they have not given any security provisions. So what are all the security provisions they need? So let me explain you the security provisions the permanent employees have. Then you will understand what the labor needs. For example, if you take an IAS officer who is a government servant, or if you take a private software engineer who is working in Infosys, these are called the permanent employees who are the secured class. So what they have a regular salary which comes at the end of the month. They have a job security. They can't be removed at the real-time instance. They cannot be fired per se. They have the social protection. They have the provident fund savings. They have regular holidays which are paid holidays, full paid, half paid. They have the medical insurance. They have the insurance for the family. They have strict terms of service which the employer adheres to. But these, friends, are missing with unorganized labor. That's why I'm saying they don't have the job security. That's why I'm saying they're the vulnerable sections. So the governments, thinking of these terms without thinking of these terms, they're trying to dilute labors, thinking that it would increase the ease of doing business, but actually it doesn't, because there will be job losses instead of job increasing. So this will result in decreased wages, lack of protection, and bad conditions of work. Employers will not focus on the conditions of work and safety and security of the employees. So that's why I would say a better policy should be coming from the central government and state government, such that there will be a balance of the interests of both employers and employees. There should be a balance between the interests of both owners and the factory workers, right? So friends, in this regard, I am trying, just with these two videos, I am trying to enhance the contours of your thinking and your thought process. So with this inspiration, I suggest all of you to give your comments to improve your writing skills, analytical skills, thinking skills. List down your ideas how artificial intelligence and machine learning Industrial Revolution 4 will be affecting Indian labor force in the short run as well as the long run. So think in different domains. How will this affect the semi-skilled and the unskilled labor? Try to give your solutions. Okay. So friends, yes, after listening this video, give real-time quiz. Okay, after reading NCERT lesson and watching this video, you can go to the channel description below, go to this Telegram, and there is a 5-bit quiz. You can answer that. So all the best, friends. The sixth class polity has been ended on a high note. I hope it has been very useful. Please give your feedback, friends. We love your feedback. We love to hear you. I tried to give you both objective, right? For the first 7 videos, I tried to give the objective prelims point of view, and now I have also tried to give you the subjective point of view. I would try my best to improve my teaching skills for seventh class polity. Please give your feedback. Do the quizzes. Please subscribe, like, and if you like this polity lessons, I would also start the other subjects. Okay, give your feedback, share it to all your aspirants, to your friends. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your feedback in advance. That's it for today, friends. All the best, aspirants.